Hello there everyone, it is Mitsu here and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we will analyze the tactics that helped Morocco reach the semi-finals of the World Cup. Walid El-Regragui was able to build an identity to the team. Morocco started the matches with the same 4-1-4-1 formation against every team they played in this tournament. He was able to force the oppositions to start planning extra tactics in order to counter his play style. For example, Soufiane Amrabat was responsible for dropping down between the two center backs during the build-ups to carry the ball on the ground. We saw how against Spain, Gavi was marking Amrabat throughout the build-ups, and also against Belgium, Amrabat was marked whenever he dropped down. Now this is something that is expected. When you play in the biggest tournament, the World Cup, you should expect your oppositions to watch how you play. But I'm mentioning that to show how Walid El-Regragui continued doing what he started with, while adapting towards the different situations during the matches. In the second halves, Walid El-Regragui sometimes depended on a backline of 5 players to secure the lead. But this tactic was not set in stone. He was able to manipulate it depending on the opposition. So for example, Morocco applied a 5-1-3-1 formation, a 5-3-2, and sometimes a 5-2-2-1. Using a double pivot in these matches was a big tactical change, since Soufiane Amrabat always started the matches as the single pivot in their usual 4-1-4-1 formation. But using a double pivot was mainly applied to allow Amrabat to move freely when covering the spaces behind the fullbacks, as the opposition was stretching their defensive line. So as you can see here, Soufiane Amrabat would follow any player performing a forward run between the center back and the fullback, helping the defensive line stay as compact as possible. Amrabat also had a direct effect on the width of their defensive block. Depending on the situation, Morocco would sometimes move this block forward as you can see, or stay back, keep a compact block, while making sure at least 2 players are pressing the ball owner. Before we continue, I would like to let you guys know that the Ekkono Winter Symposium will take place on the 28th of December. As you can see on the screen, there will be different professional panelists who will be talking about a topic where he or she is an expert. During the session, there will also be competitions between participants, where you will have the chance to win amazing prizes. Make sure to sign up using the code MITSUJR from the link in the description. Morocco's defensive block was not by any means a low block as some people might think. You can see in these examples how, in most cases, the team was using a medium and sometimes even a high defensive block. The main concept of Walid El-Regragui was to make sure no one from the opposition would receive the ball inside the block. Players like Soufiane Amrabat and Azzedine Nahi were crucial when it comes to the interceptions to any passes made between the block. As you can see, Walid El-Regragui did not mind leaving spaces on the flanks, given that the Moroccan defenders have an advantage in the aerial duels if the opposition goes for crosses inside the box. The effect of this block was seen in how many playmakers were forced to drop down outside that block and depend on going for direct long balls from their positions. Or if the opposition decided to overload the spaces between the midfield and defensive lines, this is how their teams looked like. The players were in possession, but obviously, due to the lack of numbers in the midfield, they were not able to receive the ball on the ground. We saw that against Portugal when Fernando Santos kept rotating these players in an attempt to break this block. But as Walid El-Regragui was applying a zonal system, the overall shape did not change, although the Portuguese players were switching the possessions. This video is brought to you by METRICA Sports, the fundamental tool for every coach and analyst. Create and manage all your video analysis in one platform. Use the coupon MITSUJR at the checkout for a 10% discount. The link-up plays on the flanks was something that was on the side for Walid El-Regragui, meaning that we saw Morocco applying link-up plays before crossing the ball inside. But it was not their main build-up tactic. I'll be discussing 2 goals now. Let's start with the one against Portugal. Soufiane Amrabat dropping down as usual between the center backs. Now notice how the players are positioned around the pitch. Look at how the 4 defenders are away from each other, trying to stretch the field and stretch this pressing block from Portugal. Then Soufiane Amrabat would pick up this pass on the ground, making 6 players from Portugal who were applying the pressure now behind the ball. Walid El-Regragui applied quick attacking transitions. Therefore, as the team was pushing forward, the players were able to play short and quick passes to keep the ball against the pressure applied by Portugal. And finally, they crossed the ball inside the box as El-Nesyri has an area advantage. Notice how the team is in a 7 versus 7 situation, thanks to their attacking transition. The second situation was seen in their goal against Belgium, which started from a goal kick, as Belgium was pushing forward to score, having 2 players only positioned beside the backline to receive the long ball. Morocco was able to win the aerial duel. They converted that by winning the second ball and taking the advantage of the station role that was applied correctly. This is where the third player was now needed, to take the advantage of the blindside run and also ask for the ball behind the defensive line. You can see that although the Moroccan players were outnumbered, they were able to link up correctly in tight areas. After the through ball was played, Morocco was now in a 3 versus 4 situation inside the box. A simple horizontal pass was enough to score the goal. Now I wanted to talk about their match against France. Walid Regragui decided to make serious changes in the playstyle for some reason. I understand that Morocco had a lot of injuries in the backline, but if you conceded no goals but only one own goal throughout the whole tournament, you should not change your defensive system. Morocco started this game with a double pivot. Not only that, but Walid Regragui even decided to switch the positions of Amrabat and Azzeddine Ounahi. Morocco started the match with a backline for the first time in the World Cup. Another change was that Azzeddine Ounahi was the one responsible for dropping down and receiving the balls between the 2 centre-backs, not Sofiane Amrabat. Having those 3 centre-backs during the build-ups, while keeping Azzeddine Ounahi and Amrabat in the midfield as the attack is progressing, made it easier for France to press or mark the passing options. Another change was that Walid Regragui tried to apply the inverted fullbacks concept with Hakimi and Mazraoui. That happened during the build-ups as well, in an attempt to add more numbers to the midfield to counter the pressure. Griezmann was trying to exploit the spaces between the fullback and the centre-back as France was trying to stretch the defensive line, and that's exactly how the first goal was scored. As you can see, Azzeddine Ounahi was out of position. Amrabat was trying to cover his space, but the defensive line is no longer covered. You can see how Dembele is hugging the line to pull Mazraoui out of possession, which allows Griezmann to exploit the space. Now that the pass was played, the defender misread the pass and the defensive line was completely out of shape. Obviously, Amrabat was late there, but that was not his possession. He was covering the mistake of Azzeddine Ounahi. As the players moved inside the box, they were following the ball to make up for that mistake, which left Hernandez completely unmarked on the left, although 6 players were in the penalty area. Morocco was lucky that Romain Saïss got injured, so Walid Regragui had a chance to fix all this mess and get back to their usual play style with 4 at the back. After the substitution, Morocco started playing well again. Nobody talks a lot about this game obviously, given that this team already made history, but I wanted to mention the changes made in this game to show how good the original system was, and as usual, making this much tactical changes in a crucial game is never a good idea. But on the plus side, Walid Regragui noticed these mistakes quickly and did the changes when he got the chance. So that was it guys, I hope you have enjoyed the analysis. I was thinking of uploading a similar video discussing the tactics of Lionel Scaloni and Argentina, so stay tuned for that. And if there is one player from Morocco that you want me to upload a full player analysis on, who would that player be? Let me know in the comments down below. So thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.